Welcome back to yet another session in Banzu classes. I hope you are doing healthy and fine. Since we are starting a new chapter today, so let's start it with a fun question, and the question is over here. So tell me, this is some shape given over here. Can you fold this in such a way that you get an open cube? Yes? Okay, if you recall, what is a cube? A cube is a six-faced solid shape. Yes, this has six faces and these are called edges. So this, my dear, is an edge. Now four edges make one face. So here in the cube we have to the total of six faces. Now what is the other one? The other one is the cuboid, and the cuboid also has six faces just like a cube. But these faces are not square, right? For example, in a cube the faces are square. But in the case of a cuboid, the face you can see is a rectangle, isn't it? This is also a rectangle. And this one can be a rectangle or it can be a square as well. That depends, right? But in a cube, all of the faces are always square. Alright, so let's start and talk about what is this in front of us. So the topic of the day is net of solid shapes. Wait, what are solid shapes? Have you ever heard of this word before? Solid shapes? So my dear, triangle, square, rectangle, circle, all of these, are these solid shapes? No, these are not solid shapes. Solid shapes are those shapes which you can touch. For example, the water bottle. Water bottle is in which shape? Cylinder. Okay, that's great. Cylinder is a solid shape. How about the birthday hat or the ice cream cone? Those are in the shape of cone. So that is also a solid shape because you can touch it, you can feel it, right? How about a cube, like a box? That is also a solid shape. How about a cuboid? That is also a solid shape. Then we have two more interesting ones, that is prism. So cube and cuboid both are prism actually. Then we have pyramid. Pyramid is also a solid shape. So these are some common solid shapes. So let's start and look at their net. Alright, the first thing we're going to learn is net of the closed cube. Then we're going to look at the net of the open cube. Then the net of cuboid, and following the same, we are also going to look at the net of some other solid shapes that I just told you about. Alright, so let's start with the closed cube. So here we have a cube. How many faces does it have? Okay, suppose you have forgotten, ma'am, I don't remember how many faces does it have. So just look at the room in which you are sitting. How many walls does it have? It has four walls, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. It has four walls. Plus, it has the roof, it has a floor. So total 6 faces. Alright, so it has 6 faces. And all of these faces are square in shape. Alright, and this is an edge. Now, let's cut this cube from the edges. Let's cut it from these 3 edges. Okay, you can cut it from 2 edges as well. That's totally your choice. If you're going to cut it, you are going to get something like this. It will open up completely, right? So this, my dear, is the net of the cube. Alright, so doesn't matter how you cut it. You're not always going to get this net. You may get some other kind of net. It all depends how you're cutting that cube. Alright, so that is called the net of the closed cube. Now you will say, ma'am, can we get back the cube from the net? Definitely, my dear, you can get back the cube from this net. Just look at it carefully, then how is it wrapping and we are getting the cube back again. And the cube is totally closed, right? We cannot enter this cube once it is closed. So that's the reason we call it a closed cube. Now what is an open cube then? Open cube obviously doesn't have one of the face, right? It's open, it's like an open box. For example, let's look at this one. So this is an open box, so we call it an open cube. Why do we call it an open cube? Why not an open cuboid? Do you know why is it so? You might have got it correct, because this is a cube only. It's all of the faces are square in shape, right? And it is open from one part, so that's why we call it an open cube. Now it has 5 faces and not 6 faces because its top is not there, its roof is not there. Alright, so it has 5 faces. Okay, now how about the net of this cube? Yes, if you're going to open it, you're not going to see 6 faces. Actually, you're going to see only 5 faces. For example, this. So that's the base and these are the 4 walls of it. If you're going to bring it back together, you're going to see an object like this and we call it an open cube. So this, my dear, is the net of open cube. Alright, now cube is done. Understood? Now let's move on to cuboid. In the cuboid, you can clearly see that faces are rectangular. That's the difference between a cube and a cuboid. In a cube, all the faces are square, but in the cuboid, all the faces are not square. Okay, now let's look at its net. This is the net over here. Can you see this is rectangle? This is also rectangle. This is also rectangle, and this one over here is also also rectangle. This is also rectangle. This is also rectangle. It's very much similar to the net of cube, but the main difference is the faces are rectangle. Alright, so that's the major difference. Otherwise, this also has 6 faces. This also has 8 corner points. This also has 12 edges only. Alright, everything is same, but the difference is about the side faces. The faces are actually rectangular in a cuboid. Okay, now let's look at some other solid shapes. So my dear, you must have seen a cylinder. Yeah, you must have also seen a cone. This is a cone. You can keep it straight and then put it on your head. That's like a birthday hat, right? And this, my dear, is called a pyramid. You must have seen the Pyramid of Giza. That's how it looks like, right? It has one top vertex. See, top corner it has. And every face is coming at one top. That's a pyramid. Now, this is called a prism. Doesn't it look like a pyramid? But, my dear, this is not a pyramid. This is a prism. Because all the faces are not coming together at one point. Here, these two faces, if you observe carefully, are same, right? These two faces, that is the opposite faces, are actually same. And that's what happens in prism. Like in cube and cuboid. In cuboid also, can you see these two opposite faces are same, right? So that's a prism. So cube and cuboid are also prism because its opposite faces are same. But is it the same in pyramid? No, there is only one floor at the bottom. There is no top. Top, it's just a corner point. It's just a vertex, right? So that's the difference between prism and the pyramid. Now, let's move on and look at their nets. If you're going to open the prism, then you're going to see something like this. Just like how you opened the cuboid, here in this case you're getting triangles. Why? Because it's a triangular prism. That's the reason. Now, which one is the net of a pyramid? Yes, how about this one? It's this one, right? If you're going to keep every of its face together, you are going to get one top point, right? Now, how about a cone? It's like this. You can even try this with the help of a newspaper. Just cut it like this, and if you're going to fold it, you're going to get a shape like this. And how about the cylinder? Yes, so my dear, the cylinder is like this. Okay, here it's like a newspaper, you're just folding the newspaper. And how about the top and the bottom? It's not there, simply. And if it is closed from both of these points, then you're going to see the two circles over here because it is closed. And if it is open, there will be no two circles. Alright, that's the net. If you didn't understand, again replay this part and watch it. Okay, because I want you to master this concept. Now, let's apply all of our understanding to the question that I asked you in the beginning. And the question was, can this be folded into an open cube? What do you think? It can? Yes, obviously it can. What is an open cube? An open cube has 5 faces. It doesn't have 6 faces like a normal closed cube. It has 5 faces. And how many faces does this net has? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, we can actually fold it into an open cube. Alright, so the answer to this question is a big yes. Alright, now moving ahead. Find out which of these can be made into a box. So which one can be made into a box? The first one can obviously be made into a box. How about the second one? Yes, this can also be made into a box. Just try out, no? Now, how about the third one? Actually, if you're going to fold it, you can get an open cube. Yes, and these two parts might come onto each other. Okay, you can get an open cube, but a box, no, it will not give you a closed cube. Alright, so the answer is no to this one. Only the first and second can be made into a closed box. Alright, now let's summarize whatever we have learned in this session. So we have learnt about the net of closed cube, open cube, cuboid, and nets of some different solid shapes. Now you have to spark your curiosity and figure out some nets on your own. I'm going to see you in the next session. Till then, bye-bye. Take care.